I realized that people sometimes get so caught up in their routines where they have their family, and they have their business, and they take their vacation, and they don't try anything new. Confessions of a workaholic. Yeah. So I've been thinking about life and being alone more often, and reducing stimulants, and or at least trying to be stimulated all the time. And I find that driven people, they tend to always be obsessing and working on something. And it's if you're a highly productive person professionally, entrepreneur, if you're going after uh, a big goal financially, or if you're even, I would say, just a driven person in any area, it's easy to allow yourself to get so immersed in that you can feel isolated at times. And maybe you're the upper echelon where you can just obsess on that and it fulfills you. But I found it in my mid 40s here that driving constantly in a business, building, working, and then feeling stressed out was not a fun life. And I found that that caused me to want to just escape because the pressure is just so high, and you're always working, and you're always demands, and I'm always stressed. And a driven person is someone that's always, their nervous system is amped up. They're always living in some type of fear because there's this survival instinct going all the time. I read the book by Doug Brackman, and I got to meet with him through a group that I'm a part of. And it was interesting to hear that because I've resonated with that my whole life. But why I bring that up is it can be dangerous because it's easy to be addicted to work, right? To success, to getting more. It's easy to be addicted to that relationship where it's so exciting and it's fun and there's romance and lust and big dreams. Or it's easy to be addicted to just numbing out, right? You're just like, oh my God, like I just gotta relax, and just have a drink here or there. But I think the thing that I realized is when you slow all that down, it's a very challenging thing to do in order to feel more at peace. I don't know if you feel at peace all the time, uh, but sometimes for me, I would have a life of constant stimulation, watching football, hanging out with friends, going on dates, going to conferences, and then doing the next deal and working all the time. And it was easy to stay active, but yet was kind of running away from the way I was feeling. And there's nothing wrong with being totally active, but I realized I would attract people in my life because I didn't want to just fill space with people. And it's tough. It's tough when you start eliminating friends, you start eliminating going out and drinking with everybody, and you eliminate watching football and zoning out. And there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just saying that for me, it was just a phase of like that doesn't do it anymore. And and then I had to find meaning in other things, or I had to shift the way that I related to the world. And I'm doing that right now. And it's tough. It's really tough. And I look at my father. My father is a work addict, and he isolated himself, and he doesn't have close friendships, and he's stressed quite often, and he's trying to just relax and just escape from the stress. And it's this constant cycle, and he doesn't do anything that he really enjoys. He works out a little bit, and I'm glad because he's staying healthy, but um, that's about the little fulfillment that he gets when he gets around to it. And that, I didn't want to live that life, and I wasn't going to make that mistake. So for me, it's after I had big breakup and my world was devastated, and I found that business at this phase of my life, I can't just push harder. I'm not Alex Hermosi. I'm not going to go work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, or I'm not David Goggins and I'm not going to go run 200 miles. Like, I finally had to step back and say something that's kind of controversial in the social media, grind, hustle, work hard world, but just saying I'm happy enough. I'm happy enough with my life. I'm happy enough with the house I got. I'm happy enough with the body I got. I'm happy enough with the business that I have. I'm happy enough with the relationships in my life. And that doesn't mean that I don't want more and I don't want to create and I don't want to grow, but I think it reduces the stress where it's like, you know what? It is a pretty good life. I got a lot of good things and it's this there's a lot of beautiful things in my life the way it is right now, and there's not a reason to be anxious or afraid all the time. I mean, I worked hard to get where I'm at. I'm sure you did too. You work your butt off and you have something that it's something to be proud of, whatever it is. And I remembered back in the days where I was broke, alone in a little apartment and just struggling, no money, no dates, no nothing. I was busted up my back and I was pretty happy. I was like reading books and learning and trying to figure things out and spent a lot of time alone and and like I wasn't anxious. I was like, you know what, this is where I'm at and I believe I'm going to get to where I want to go, and I wasn't too worked up about it. So I think there's something around just accepting the way things are. I know people will probably hate that, but there's beauty in that. Like, you know what? Right here, right now, it's not that bad. It's pretty damn good actually. And enjoy doing something that doesn't make any money. What I've been doing, I took a handstand class tonight. I'm learning how to handstand. It's tough. And I live in Vegas and there's these circus performers and there's regular people too. And they teach these classes and it's pretty fun. And they're like really cool, calm, relaxed people. But I realize that people sometimes get so caught up in their routines where they have their family, they have their business, and they take their vacation, and they don't try anything new, and you don't end up meeting people. And we live in this world where we're on screens all the time, and we're constantly just in our box. And what's been great about this transition in my relationship, and instead of trying to go out and just find someone to go date right away, like just being around, being alone, and joining. I joined a bunch of gyms. I joined this circus gym. I joined a bodybuilding gym. I joined a kickboxing gym. I joined a Pilates studio. I joined this other thing called Labrie Labs, which is like a Pilates on steroids. It's really tough. And I start meeting all these different people, and trying to date a little bit here, but not a lot of success. But it's community, and I don't feel like doing it sometimes, but I'm getting out and building community. And I think there's such a lack of community. And I'm actually going to the restaurants around my house. Like, I'm going to the sushi restaurant right across the street. I've never been before. And I go get my nails like cleaned up, and I go to that barber down the road. And it's pretty cool to like have community and explore my own little area that I was so in my box doing my thing all the time that I wasn't enjoying or experiencing life outside of this little routine. So there's not a this isn't an inspiring podcast, but I wanted to talk about this, just going outside your box and trying new things. I'm going to go to this like the board game meetup with all these, what I from high school we called dorks. I want to be a dork. I want to hang out with dorks. I want to, and they're cool people and friendly people. They teach me these games. I get to meet other people, but at least it exposes me outside of this little world that I live in, and investing in real estate and wealth management conferences and or just the same thing every day, the same gym routine. And so I'm going. I think there's something to it. I think there's something highly enriching. There's something that is extremely valuable and wealthy in having diverse friendships and learning these new skills and these different communities and how these different people think. And I'm excited about that. I think it's a better life. It's just living a regular life, man. And that doesn't get acknowledged much. And it's more fulfilling. I don't want to be 65 without friends. I don't want to feel isolated in my house. And if I am, I feel good where I'm alone and I enjoy reading a book about history or watching a documentary or just hanging out with. I think I'm going to get some cats. I'm going to get a couple cats, and I've never took care of a pet. I got a dog once and I had to bring it back after like a week because it was so much responsibility. But I'm settling in and taking care of animals, or I will, and spending time with people I would never spend time with, and there's no monetary incentive, and doing exercises and meeting up with groups that are way different than me, and I'm just gonna see where it goes, and I'll let you know. But I think it's pretty cool. You get out of this world that I've been living for the last 20 years and trying new things. And then, you know, this is an interesting part of the podcast, but I want to talk about dating in this modern world. Oh boy. Um, if you're single, you know what I'm talking about. It's rough out there. Rough. And I think it's a systemic problem that people have a tough time finding people that they can build a romantic relationship with, and it's in a healthy way instead of it being trauma bonding where people have a ton of baggage in terms of jealousy and lack of commitment and emotional instability. I don't want to be negative. Like I think that um, there's amazing people out there too, but what I'm seeing there is a lot of people aren't self-aware or conscious or wanting to do any work to help grow emotionally. I think it's tough right now to create connections. And and I think that that really causes people to have to find ways to feel fulfilled and how to find love for themselves. It where you don't have a partner that's going to fill you up, or they're not your purpose, or you're not taking care of them. And a lot of people find meaning from their family. And I get it. I can see why. And I think it's beautiful. If you have a beautiful family that you can share that love with, and the safety and the fun and the you get to grow and learn and teach your kids and connect with them and see them grow. Like that's a beautiful thing. But I think the people that don't have that, or if they had a divorce, or and that it's happening at record speeds, then you're in a space where you're a little lost, and that's where you got to go out and be vulnerable and create friendships and try new things, and also spend time with my family. But it's a I don't know if this maybe you live this life, and that's awesome. If you do, man, I admire you, because I think that that's a healthy life, and that is something that I want to create, because I think wealth is a lot more than just money. Clearly, having a lot of money, but being alone and not having people you trust and not having people that genuinely accept you and love you and are present with you is a painful existence, and one that I don't want to live. And I don't think there's a lot of wealth in that. I think that's a life of power and control and fear and scarcity. Even if you have tons of money in the bank, without those connections, what do you got? We're social animals. So I just want to challenge you to try something new. Go to a place you would never go. Go hang out with people you would never hang out with, learning a new class, or doing something different or unique or a different conference, and seeing and being open to what unfolds. And this isn't easy. I'm a driven person, so I want to get things done. But take steps back, slow down, and get out of my comfort zone and connect with people that are way different than me. So this is a new experiment, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. And I got to calm down the nervous system, take a step back, keep banging on the business, right? And keep doing the right things. But it's also healthy and enriching to try something new and build really cool connections with people. All right. Have a great week. I'll catch you next time. Finding Your Edge.
So thanks for following along. Please comment or book a call with me. Look forward to seeing you next time.